first hit. We're gonna do a small launch here.
A car is not just a vehicle. It is an emotion, dream, love, and much more than just a materialistic property for some. There are a few people who believe their personality is attached with the cars they drive. They live each moment of their life and drive as if it was their last day. Well, here we have an automotive YouTuber, a car enthusiast, and a car technician by profession. The man who conquers from within, Alexis Cisnero. You can connect with him and support his journey with links of his social media outlets as mentioned below in the description. Apart from all of this, he is a great family man as well, as we all know that the world we discovered doesn't love us like our family loves us. Alexis considers his family as his core team who are there through the thick and thins of his journey. So without further ado, let's meet this gem of a person and let's go.
So what's up, man?
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Good morning in here. You're like very different, to be quite honest.
Thank you, man.
Uh, you're very honest and very different. And yeah, I think you're very passionate about whatever things you do. Especially cars and everything.
Yeah.
And so, like, would you like tell me about the marriage? People tend to like most of the people they don't like to marry early, but you are like quite the opposite. You took on because marriage has got a lot of responsibilities, and most of people are terrified of it,
Right.
including me also. I'm terrified.
Dude, yeah, I mean,
I don't think I can. We have like one more life to take care of, and if you get a child, we have like two more.
Oh yeah, and
lives
I
to
got
take
I
care
got both of them.
This,
I'm married and I have a child.
I know that.
Yeah.
So can you tell me like your decision to marry like that early?
I don't think it's for everyone. I have a younger sister and she's actually 19, which is well, I got married at 20, but she she's 19, so she's getting there and she's single. And I always tell her, I'm like, you don't have to marry. You don't have to get married young. Like that's something I did, but I felt like it was, it's just the person that you're gonna marry. I feel like you just you find that person that you kind of don't want to let go of. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that's definitely something to take into consideration. That's why I got married at a young age. Plus, I feel like, most people that don't want to get married at a young age, it's like you said, they don't want to get tied down to something.
Yeah.
They don't want to feel like, they can't do whatever they want. But that's why I'm saying if you find the right person, they'll let you still be yourself. They'll still let you do what you want to do. Right? It doesn't have to be about necessarily like everything they want. I know it's like a stereotype for women in marriages to always want everything their way and everything has to be, according to them. I feel like that's why you find the right woman that lets you do what you want to do and lets you, it be both of you get the same thing, both of you like do it
He
right.
does what he wants, and you do whatever you want, right?
Right. Like we both, we're
Sort
both
of
allowed.
Yeah, each other. If you're weak at something, she covers it up for you, and if she's weak at something, you cover it
Exactly.
up for her. Right?
Exactly. Also, when you're on life, if you find that right person, you have someone else to, doing everything on your own. You have a team that you're rolling with, and I think that's also very important. It helps because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be single until life, figure out my career, and then I'll get married. And it's, just because you can't do any of the things you want to do. You can still help you do it if you find the right person. The wrong person will bring you down.
Correct. Because before seeing your that podcast, I was like very afraid, because I thought like marriage would bring me down and everything, and I thought it from different perspective, different way, like you
Right,
can work as a team, right?
right.
Because if you can work and you work as a team, then it's no better feeling than that,
Of
you
course,
get that
man.
extra and you can depend on her always.
Of course. Right. It's all about finding that person that allows you to do that.
Yeah, yeah. So like one more question is about marriage. Like, uh, didn't you get like afraid that you would make a wrong choice? Because at the end of the day, we are all humans, and
Right, right. Of
you know
course.
the the
Like in,
he
uh,
changed, right? The person.
right. People change a lot. Yes. Yes.
So
Um, I feel like, I guess one benefit of getting married young is that you change together, if that makes any sense. Like you mature at the same time and you start to take on responsibilities together and as equals. So like, when you get married at like let's say 30, right? That person already has habits and has matured in a way, and you'll never be able to change that person, I guess, or you'll never be able to like, if they already have a way of being, you'll never be able to like, but I guess then that has to do with not finding the right one, because if you find the right one, you won't have to, have that debate. I don't know. I feel like for me and my wife, like we've changed a lot, but we've changed together. We've
yeah,
changed, like
correct.
we've just become like one person.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So far, we haven't changed in a negative way, for each other. Like we've, everything we've done is to benefit each other. Like I do for me, we work at it together. So first dating before you get married, it's like for yourself, like let's do whatever I want for myself and whatever. But when you're married, you just think about the person.
Okay.
So, but you also have to be very independent too. I feel like I always tell my wife, like it's good to be independent. Like she should be successful on her own. I can be successful on my own. So because if I cannot her short just so she can help me become someone. She can't do the
Yeah,
same thing to me. She
yeah,
can't hold me
because
back from doing what I love. Go
and
ahead.
that will not be successful as sustainable as well, because one keeps sacrificing and the other keeps like uh feeding on it, and
Right. That's very unhealthy.
yeah. And now comes you married early, and you're already a father as well. So like
Yes.
explain that fatherhood to me. How special is it?
It's actually one of the best things in the world, man. It's one of the best things in the world. It's cliche that because a lot of people say the same thing. They're always like, "Oh, being a father is the best thing in the world," and I'm here that but it really is. It really honestly, you won't care for a person, you'll care for your child, and then everything came from like me wanting to be successful, wanting to be like a YouTube, all this and that. It all came from like my own selfish, like I wanted to do it myself. Now I want it for my family, I want to do it for my wife, I want to do it for my child. He like every time I think about instead of like before I would just think about myself like, oh, if I give up, I'm letting myself down. But letting yourself down always sucks. But letting people like love down is even worse than that, like 10 times worse. So like a lot of dads out there that work 2 jobs or work 20 a day, and you're like, how do they do that? It's because they do it. So I feel like it's that special. It's not saying that that it makes it easier, but it to want to keep fighting. That's good. I mean, I like like I first scared, so I was like, oh crap. Like, am I gonna be the right dad? I'm kind of crazy, so the right to teach him everything, but once some time goes by, you'll realize that your dad instincts, your parent instincts just kick in.
Uh, so
So
like what about the conditions have like changed dramatically since we have grown up, right? So what are the differences between like the child growing up today and the child growing up when you were of your age? I don't think you have much difference
no
about it,
much
but
of a difference. No, well, like I feel like one of the biggest differences for me is that when I was growing up, there wasn't essence to be like to want things that you. So what I mean by that, like I was like always wanted to. I never did because I was scared of what my parents thought about that. Like I said in the game saying that I've always wanted to entertain. 13 to be a YouTuber, but I never did. Never like I made a channel, I uploaded some videos, but then I took it down being like, oh, this is gonna work. And I never told my parents. I never, I didn't have that as a career options when talking to my parents about it because they were at it. But now, like my child, he can come to me with more, ideas and different things, and I'll be more like, yeah, I know what it was like, first not to understand, and it was like annoying, and it really sucked. So I'm, I'll give him that freedom to choose more. He's every kid still needs rules, and some of strict rules, not in the like what they want to do with their life. You know, so I feel like that would be the biggest difference for me growing up.
so like with the advancement of technology, right? Uh, the the dangers of growing up as grown up as well, because we record and everything is there, right?
Yeah.
So like we want to get away from our mistakes like we did in our
Right.
childhood, right? Right.
Right. Right.
So like are there any more dangers to growing up like in today's world, especially because we have if this technology if people record with bad intentions, they use
Right.
technology against us, so like how do you like save your child from it?
That's honestly a good question because I have thought about that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if I mean, I would hope that I become a YouTuber and the automotive thing takes off and all that works out for me. And if it does, I know I'll have people like, not after your kids necessarily, but you don't want to expose them too much to different people because you don't know who's watching your channel, who's watching your things. So definitely that makes it a little hard. That does make it a little hard. And when they grow up, they're 14, they get a phone, they start using Snapchat, Instagram, and they need to be safe with it. They can't be, and I didn't have that growing up. I did, but I think until I was like 16, I started to use Snapchat and Instagram and all that. So,
Wow.
so I guess, you know, I don't know. That's a good question. That one stumped me because I thought about it and it is kind of scary to think about. It's like, man, you know, I hope I know how to parent properly through that, through not allowing him, like, to allow him to understand that whatever you put on the internet will be there forever, even if you delete it. So,
So like one thing that one solution that came to my mind was like you build a community, right? Because you are
right,
such a good, right? Whenever something bad happens to a child, we as a community should protect the child. You know,
right, right,
we should protect the wrong people, right?
right,
Because very easy to raise voices on our internet. So we as like good citizens should protect the right, because once for once it's happening with your child, now it may happen with my child as well.
right, right, of
If we try,
course.
then I think we can fight this bad thing,
Right. Yeah, and I
right?
feel like I agree with that 100%. I feel like it is a community effort to do that. I feel like everyone together should work against it. I don't know why it's so um it's kind of a hard thing, you know? It's a hard thing to call those people out. Not
Mm.
for me or not for you necessarily. I mean, if you're mentioning it, that means you're not afraid to do it either. But I feel like a lot of people are scared. I like, you know, the example of like when people go post things on other people's, you know,
Mm.
on their videos or on their posts, and they're like, they post mean things or they troll. It's hard to call out those trollers because then everyone's like, oh, wow, you can't take a joke, or like, oh, you can't. So it's hard to, you know, to be like, oh, am I being too serious? You know, but it's like, no, you're not being too serious. I feel like, you know, people need to know boundaries and they need to know
Yeah.
like what's too far. So, I mean, I like joking around. I joke around a lot, but people definitely take it farther than it should be taken, and they go to extremes that, you know, it's just too much. So
Yeah.
I feel like I agree 100%. I think it's a community effort, you know?
Yeah. Another one thing that surprised me was like you were using like smartphones when you were 16, which means like I even even I use I'm like pretty old to be quite honest. Even I
Really?
use
How old
like
are you?
I'm 26 now, so
Oh, that's not old, man.
I, I used it when I was like 17.
Oh,
So
17? Okay, okay.
thought like you were younger than me, so you should have used it earlier and something like that. That really surprised me as well.
Yeah, I feel like when I was younger though, I was into sports a lot, and I was into. I'm sure I used Snapchat and like Instagram, but like not like I didn't post on it. I just had it to communicate with my friends. I never posted anything, you know. Like I mean, I would when I got my car at 16, I did. But before that, I would use Snapchat and Instagram to like communicate. I never posted on my stories or on my feed or anything. It was just, you know, I didn't use it for that. But I started using it and actually posting and actually becoming active on it at like 16 or, you know, I would say 15 to 16. I would say 100%. But yeah, I feel like before I was just like playing outside, you know, riding bikes and all that. So I was very
Uh,
active.
like I used Snapchat when I was like 21, 22, right? So I
Okay.
still don't know what I don't know
Yeah,
what to do.
dude,
Yeah,
I had
can you
Snapchat. Go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
can you give me like some tips on it? What are you supposed to do there? I don't know, man.
Dude, honestly, so I started using Snapchat also recently. Like, so I've been using it for a long time, but like to communicate with people. But recently, I started posting on my Snapchat story to promote my content and promote my YouTube channel and kind of updating people on there too. And I had zero, like not zero. I had like 5 or 6 friends on Snapchat, and then I went on Quick Add, and then I just added a bunch of people on my Quick Add. So,
Yeah.
and then I just grabbed my Instagram stories, downloaded them. So every time I post on my Instagram, I'll download it and put it on Snapchat. So then I started doing that, and then adding everyone on my Quick Add, and now I'm getting like 200 to 250 views of Snapchat. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like I'm exposing 200 people to my content on YouTube. So I just literally everything I post on Instagram, I just transfer it and post it on my Snapchat. But I don't really know like what else to do with it. That's the only thing I figured out that works for me.
Okay, fine. So like you're very interested in all those cars and all those automotive stuff, right?
Yes,
Are you
yeah.
like technician or
I
are
was
you mechanic
yeah,
or
yeah, I was a technician for 4 years. I went to tech school for a year and a half, and then I was a tech for 4 years. I worked at Mercedes for about a year, and then I worked at BMW for 3 years. So yeah, I love cars. I've always liked cars though. Since I was like I got my first car at 16, and I've always been messing around with my cars like all the time. I just like taking stuff apart, putting it back together, making it well, I like making it faster. So I like working on it, making it faster. I like to race. That's what I'm into, you know. That's always been my thing.
Oh. So like what are the certifications that you need for to become a car technician?
Honestly, you don't. So that's my one of the mistakes I made was going to tech school because you don't need to go to tech school to become a technician. You know, you can go to any job that you know, like BMW, Ford, anything, Mercedes, and you can literally tell them like, "Hey, can I? Are you guys hiring? You know, to be a lube tech? You know, just change oil." And you don't need any certifications to change oil at all. and they'll hire you. You'll start changing oil, and in a year or maybe a little longer than that, they'll start training you, and then from there, you
Oh,
there. It'll probably years more, like full technician, but it's free.
okay.
I
So
need
we do not.
to go into. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So we do not need to go to take school and all that stuff.
No, 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 no,
Mm.
no, no. That is like a misconception that people think you need to do, but you need to do it.
Oh, so, yeah. It was very like cool of you to like will reveal it all, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
I fell for the trick, man. Dude, I fell
yeah,
for it. I thought you needed to go to tech school. No one told me at all. And I was like, I went,
yeah,
then I spent $50,000 going to tech school for no reason. And then when I got hired at Mercedes, there was people there that I was like, oh, what tech school did you go to? And they're like, oh, I didn't go to tech school. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, I just been changing oil here. And I'm like, oh. And then, they got trained and then they were tech. It took them like 4 years, but it's better than going to tech school and spending, 50 grand for what? I get to be a tech quicker. That's patience. Like Gary Vee says, you definitely, if you have the patience, you won't make mistakes like I did. That was a bad mistake, but I'm trying to learn from it. Now when anyone tells me about being a tech, I'm always like, dude, don't go to tech school. Just go work as a change oil for a year and then go from there, man. You do not need to go to tech school and spend money.
did you tell your father about it?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, dude. I had to help,
Oh my God. How has your whole working experience been as a car technician?
um it's had its ups and downs. It's had its ups and downs. It's had um there are times where you make no money, and there are times where you make a lot of money. And I feel like it all has to do with also, I would say, I mean, it's just true. Everything comes down to patience. As you learn how to work on cars more, you get quicker, so when you're diagnosing a car, if like for me, it takes longer because, I'm still fairly new. I've only been working for 4 years as a tech.
Yeah.
So it takes me a longer time. But for someone who's been doing it for 20 years, they pull in a car, exactly what's wrong with it. So, that's what more money you make. The quicker you do job, the more money you make. So, and that all comes with experience. But it's definitely, it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. That's the best way I can put it. You know?
Uh, Racing as well, right?
Yes.
You're into
Yeah.
like. So have you like ever been like terrified of being in an accident? Like
Yeah. I,
where do you
I,
guys race? And
huh?
where do you guys race?
I race in Bradenton at the track. It's here in Florida, and it's a quarter-mile track. It's not that long, but I like it, and it is scary. I sometimes think about like, very rarely though do I think about it, but it is like, I could crash and just, die. But I feel like once I'm like actually racing and I'm actually doing it, I kind of feel like it kind of goes away. Like the fear just automatically leaves. It's like kind of people that go rock climbing or go, like, in a sense they're like, oh, my parachute can't, but they do it anyways. And when they're actually doing it, it's like, the fear just goes away. It's like you're already falling off the air. There's no going back. So I feel like the same thing. You kind of think about it. I love it. I like the adrenaline, so it's worth it to me.
So have you like ever been in a like accident
I have.
where okay.
I have been in an accident. It wasn't for racing. um, yeah, it was this car. It was in light yellow, and I thought the lady in front of me to go. And, I hit the gas because I was, she was gonna go. She was gonna go, and then she stopped halfway at the light, and I just rear-ended her bad. That was the first car I ever had. I had only been driving for 6 months, So it
Okay.
was, it was definitely not fun to only drive for, I just got in my license and I got in a car accident. So yeah, it wasn't too fun, but you learn, you learn.
What happened next then? Like, did she, you know?
Oh yeah, it was my fault. It was definitely my fault. Call insurance. Cops came. I had to pay the ticket. I had to pay everything because I was too close to her rear bumper, and I was
Yeah.
like, man. But I mean, I do blame myself. I should have stopped. I mean, like I don't know why I was in such a hurry, and it cost me.
Yeah.
It cost me my car. It cost me some money and tickets, and yeah. But you learn, like I said, you know.
So like coming back to racing, like what are the types? I don't know. I'm like really a noob in this. Like, what are the types of race? Like, I know one drag race, and you get that normal race.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
what's it?
So there's drifting, drag racing. You can do circuit racing. Some people like street racing, which is illegal. But it's all fun. I feel like everyone. I feel like you start off street racing because like I used to, because it's super cheap compared to going to the track. Going to the track is far. It's like 2.5 hours away, and it's expensive. Street racing is free, but it's dangerous. And not for yourself. Obviously, all racing is dangerous, but for other people on the road. So you have to take that into consideration. So I feel like that's definitely something that I strayed away from it because of that. You know, and because I was able to afford to go to the track too. Can't lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's definitely like as you get older, you can afford it. Plus, go to the track is just it's more fun for me at least because it takes a lot more work to be fast at the track. It takes more knowledge, more work, and it's more competition. There's just a lot more competition. It's more competitive.
No, there was one video about drag racing that you made, right? Drag racing 101, and I
Yeah,
really enjoyed it. I just want to tell that, and keep continuing.
thank you,
I
man.
don't
I appreciate it so much, dude. I appreciate it.
because like for people like me, I get to like to get informed at first. You
Right,
know,
right. No, dude, I 100% get it, man. I agree with you.
yeah. There are some people who like your other videos, like the car videos and everything, but
Right.
I to get the other side as well. It was super interesting.
Oh
So
yeah, dude. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I'm trying to make more videos that are more formal for
yeah,
to get people into racing and into cars in general. I feel like the more someone knows about a hobby, the more it is that they will join it and they'll like get into it. Or appreciate it more.
because like people who are already enthusiasts, they will know like what's going on in the video, right? The other videos.
Right, right,
When you're like introducing it to me, it's I'm now more interested about cars, because
right,
I
right.
saw
No, dude.
and everything.
Of course, I
So
completely get it.
yeah. So like, what's your like craziest modification ever? The
Um,
thing.
I feel like the craziest thing I've done to the car. That's a good question. That's a good one. Um, Let me think here. I think the thing that has made the biggest difference to the car, or like overall difference to the car that I actually felt it was the gears on it, like the differential, like the rear end. I feel like I did 410 gears, so they're a lot shorter. So you have to shift a lot. Like the acceleration in the car, sorry, excuse me. The acceleration just gets a lot crazier, and like you feel the car just when you hit the gas, you just feel it more. So out of everything I've ever done, I feel like that was definitely the biggest thing that I felt the most.
Do you like those stickers on the bumpers they put, right?
The what?
The stickers that they put. Do you remember any of them?
The stickers on the bumper?
Yeah, yeah,
Like the decals?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, do I
So
have
like,
any?
yeah, yeah.
No, no, I don't
They-
have any. I have the stickers from the track that I got at the track. I have them on the windows though. I don't have any bumper stickers actually. I feel like for my car, since I don't have any sponsors or anything, I didn't want to do any stickers. But if for the next build, when I get a new car, The next project I want to do, if I do get it sponsored and all that, I'll definitely rep their brands and throw some stickers on it. But for this car, since I had to pay for everything myself, I was like, you know what, I don't want to.
Uh, like, what's your like the favorite? What's your favorite car? Like the one you want to own. Like right now, I think it's Mustang, right?
Yeah,
Your favorite. Yeah. What do you want to own in the future?
my favorite car that I would love to own is also a Mustang, but it's a Cobra. It's a 2004 Cobra. That would be like my that's my dream car. That's a car I would love to own. Like that would be one of the cars that I need to own. It's something I want in the future for sure. That's definitely my favorite car ever.
Well, if you were to advise someone, like what are the qualities of a good car according to you?
um, according to me, I feel like a good car has to be something reliable right off the bat, something that you don't have to do, that you have to do very few things to, oil change, you know, air filter, and it'll run for 100,000 miles. That's a good car. 1996 Corolla. Those are good cars. Those are fantastic cars. Toyotas in general, all Toyotas are great cars. They're reliable. They've never have issues. They never ever have issues. They don't deteriorate. They don't start falling apart. They're well put together. They're well put together cars. I feel like Fords are the American Toyota. You know, I feel like they're definitely put together properly. They last a very long time. I have a 2005 Expedition, the SUV we own, and it has 300,000 miles on it, and that thing is running, man. Everything is good on it. Interior's intact. Nothing wrong with it. It's not falling apart. It's a good car. 300,000 miles. That's a lot of freaking miles.
That's a
you
lot.
know, yeah. So I think that's definitely it right there for me. Something that's not going to fall apart and that you have to do very few things to. Air filter, oil change. Maybe after 100,000 miles, do some spark plugs. And that's it. Like it doesn't need anything more than that.
Okay. Uh, what do you think about the cars that have like alternate source of fuel, like the hybrid cars and the
Like
hydro hydrogen fuel cars, the electric vehicles, the EVs?
like the Teslas and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How,
I like
what
them.
future?
Uh huh.
What do you think about their future? How will they like become a thing?
Yes, yeah, I think 100% they're going to be the next thing in the sense of like racing too. I think people are going to go away from like I think my child when he grows up and he's 16, he's going to want an electric car and he's going to race in that. I think Ford and everyone's going to move to electric and they're going to start making electric Mustangs and electric everything. I feel like that's just the future and there's no way of avoiding it. I feel like that's just what we'll see. And I mean, it's convenient. It's so convenient. While you're at home, you're charging your car. You don't have to stop at a gas station to put gas. You don't have to make any stop. You just charge your car at home. I mean, unless you're going on a road trip, then yeah, if you drive for a long time, then you will need to stop and charge. But if you're overnight while you're getting your work ready, you're getting to work in the morning, you don't have to be like, oh, I have to stop for gas first. No, your car charges overnight. So you just go to work, come back, and you don't have, I have to stop for gas ever. And then if they make the self-driving cars, dude, I know Tesla already has it, but when they make it a big thing and everyone does it, it's over. At that point, it's the best thing ever. And even the Teslas, they can be fixed through software on the computer. They just send you updates, like like iPhones, they get updates. Like they'll just send updates to the car and it fixes everything on it. Like you don't have to go to a shop.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. You can think about
Dude,
it.
oh man, I think I'm excited for that, to be honest. Like I think that's really cool.
You want some update? You go update it at
Yeah,
home.
dude, literally, it's gonna be that easy. That's insane, man. That's crazy to think about.
One of the things like I keep thinking about is the flying cars.
Oh yeah, dude, I thought that was gonna happen by now, man. I'm so disappointed. I thought that was gonna happen already, but it hasn't. I always thought by the time I was 20 it would happen. When I was little, I was like 10. And I'm like, oh yeah, in 10 years we'll have flying cars. Now it's like we're not even close.
Yeah, when I was school, they told me like in 2020 they will have flying cars and
Oh
everything.
yeah, yeah. I remember hearing that too, and it never happened.
Especially they told me like when I didn't do the homework,
Yeah.
you know, and you're not doing this and you're not doing that. How will you
Yeah.
complete?
Yeah, dude, of course. Yeah.
Of course,
No, it'll happen. It'll happen eventually. It'll happen.
I read somewhere that it has already happened, but it's just not generalized, right?
Right. And I
Yes.
feel like, yeah, yeah, they already are softly on their own with no human interaction.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when the flying cars will become a thing. Because then you won't have accidents. Because imagine like getting in a car accident in the sky and then falling. Like
Yeah.
that would be even worse. So I feel like if they get the self-driving where it's perfect and there's no car accidents at all, then I feel
Yeah.
like then they can do the flying.
And like, is there any traffic rules that you like really don't like or you would like to change?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you can hear me? I can't like it's like my audio, like your audio coming through is like robotic.
Okay, okay, just wait.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. I can hear
Okay.
you. You're
Uh,
okay.
I'm good. Okay. So like, is there any traffic rule that you'd like to change?
Any what?
Any traffic rule that you don't like or you'd like to change?
Traffic rule?
Yeah, yeah. You're not
Uh,
satisfied with.
I think in Germany they got that highway where there's no speed limit.
Okay.
I feel like that would be nice all around the world. I feel like if you want to drive slow, you just get in the right lane, drive at your own pace. But if you want to get somewhere on time, use the left lane. I feel like in Germany they have that highway set up pretty good, man. I feel like that's a good idea. There shouldn't be. I don't like speed limits. I think okay, so I think in school zones and in like
Mm.
hospital zones they should have speed limits. I feel like definitely there in those areas, but on a highway, I don't really see a reason for it really because anyways, at the end of the day, when there's no cops, everyone goes over the speed limit. So what's the difference? I feel like when you're driving down the highway and you can go 70, everyone's going 90. So what's the point of even having a sign there if 90% of the time people are going to go over the speed limit? I feel like in Germany that Germany did it right.
Yeah, cool. Like for anyone that is not a car enthusiast, how would you like recommend them to start? You know,
Um, watching, I feel like watching like man, I feel like I'm promoting myself here, but it's true. It's true. Watching automotive, that's how I started though. Like I literally I was always been into cars. Like when I was little I played with Hot Wheels and I've always naturally been into it. But what really got me to learn and get really into it is by watching on YouTube like with cars and like you kind of getting out people, like getting your own car and yourself and like exploring it, taking all that, like close to your car video on how to do it, and like or just learn like that, and just also hang out with two cars. Was another way I learned to it.
yeah. See, so the another challenge would be like to get a driving license, right?
Yes, yeah. Start off with
What's the
that.
system there in like US, right? How to get a driving license? You're like,
It's honestly,
that.
it's scary how easy it is. It's really scary. Literally, you just go to you go to the DMV, you ask for your license, they they check your background for whatever reason, because they'll still give you one anyways. They'll check your height, they'll check your vision with like the simple little, cover one eye, cover the other eye. Then they do like a 2-minute driving test, and then bam, you got your driver's license. So anybody can have anybody can basically have a driver's license that's 16 or older.
Okay.
It's kind of scary.
It's like no test. You don't have to do all those things.
It's very very short and very easy. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. There's a lot of bad drivers here in America. Wait, you don't live in the U.S.?
No, no, I don't live in the US.
Oh, I thought you
I
did.
No, no, no. I'm somewhere. You know, India, somewhere.
Oh, I know India.
Up,
Yeah.
yeah, it's above. It's not India. It's
Oh, it's
Nepal.
not. Oh, I
It's
don't think.
above India.
Oh,
Many
okay,
people
gotcha, gotcha. Huh?
many people don't know Nepal. So that's why.
Nepal.
Yeah,
Nepal. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. You like it over there?
yeah, yeah. I like it. It's pretty much good.
Yeah,
Except
that's awesome, man.
everything's good.
That's awesome, dude. That's good. A lot of people, like a lot of people, that are, in countries. I feel like in countries outside of the U.S., like they're always like, they always like want to come over to the U.S. in general. But I always like to see people that are like happy with like their country in the sense of like I'm like it makes me think like that's a good country then. You know what I'm saying? Like because I feel like I'm Cuban, and everyone in Cuba hates Cuba, and like I hate Cuba. Like I would never want to live there. So like when I see other people are happy with their countries, I'm like it's good. That's like that means your country's ran good. I feel like it's I don't know. It's very um it's like motivating to know that. It's like, okay, so I guess Cuba's the only crappy country, right? I know there's other countries that are really bad, but
I didn't mean that.
huh?
I didn't mean that.
No, no, dude. I mean, it's good to know that though, like, because I would like to travel. I eventually want to travel, so it's good. Like, but I would never go to travel to Cuba. So I feel like it's nice to hear people that like their countries because I'm like, if I ever go visit there, I know I'm gonna have a good time and it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice country and it's gonna be. But when I mean, I don't know. Is that like, do you like it there? Is that like, is it like, it? Would you be there for the rest of your life?
If I have the option, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what I'm talking about. I like that. I like to hear that.
If there ever comes like some situations comes, then of course I would love to like you know go somewhere else and then come back
Right.
again. I would not like to
That's
stay there forever. I'd love to come back. So
right, dude. It's your home.
yeah,
It's
it's
your
great.
home, I agree.
Wow.
Heck
So,
yeah.
yeah. So like one more thing about cars, like to explain that knows nothing about cars. Would like just explain how a car works, how a car runs. So how would you do that? Like
Um.
explain like from
So
scratch.
how a car runs? So you got the engine, right? Which is like basically the engine's basically the heart of the car. So you got the engine, right? Then from the engine you have the transmission. So it's like you have the engine right here, and then the transmission right here that attaches to it, and that basically gives you all your gears. You put it in drive, park, does everything. So then the power and the torque that the engine produces goes down the transmission, and then the transmission sends it to the drive shaft, which is this like skinny tube that goes from the transmission to your rear end. So like to your differential, all the way at the end of the car. And then from your differential, it opens up to two other tubes that are the axles. And then from the axles, they attach to your tires or your wheels, And then, when you give it gas, engine sucks in air, produces a torque, sends it to your transmission, to your drive shaft, to your rear end, and then to your tires or to your wheels. Sorry, to your wheels. And that's pretty much, that's pretty much how it works. Basically, the engine being the heart of the car. You have the engine is what does all the pumping of power. Basically, like the heart, pumps blood to your body to move. That's the engine creates movement for the car.
Okay. So like, what are the things that are in a car engine? Like basically.
Oh, so inside the engine, you got the block, which is like the main part, which takes up the most of the engine up basically. So it's the engine block, and inside the block there are pistons and rods. So it's like a circular thing like that, and it has like a little rod, and then that rod attaches in the center of the block. Like you got the big block, in the center there's a shaft, right, and then that turns and it moves the pistons. So when you hit the gas and it sucks in air, the pistons move faster. And then it produces more power and you move faster. And then from there, depending on every car is different, but most of them work the same. Most of them they all work the same really with all that. But You got your camshafts, but that's the difference. There's double overhead cam cars and there's single overhead cam cars, and then there's push rod. So those are basically the three. There's probably there's a fourth type, but that one's is there a fourth type actually? I'm trying to think. No, I think those are the only three. So the single overhead cam, double overhead cam, and then push rod. So push rod is like everything runs off the camshaft. So that rod I was telling you in the center of the car. Then on top of that, there's another smaller rod, and then it has rods. Everything has rods. Everything has aluminum rods everywhere. And then basically, as you give it gas, air comes in and the pistons move, and then those rods open up these little valves. They're like little valves, and it's all timing. Everything's timed. There's a timing chain in the front of the engine, right? And then that, as the crankshaft turns, it times the valves so to make sure they come in. The piston sucks in the air, right? Then when the piston goes back up, then the valves shut and it creates the explosion, and that explosion in there pushes down the crankshaft, and then the crankshaft is connected to the input shaft in the transmission, and then that crankshaft with that rod in the middle I was telling you about spins the transmission. So it's crazy. It's and those things are so rough too. It's very hard metal. It doesn't break. It's like 1,000 degrees in that engine. Thousands of degrees hot. There's explosions going on, smoke fumes coming out. It's a lot. It's a lot. But basically, I would say the main thing is know that the engine needs air to function. So it needs, to suck in air. It's almost like a body. We need to breathe. We need air. So the engine needs air. It has an intake tube in the front, the air filter. So it sucks in. So it needs good, clean air. Suck it in through there. Gives it to the engine. The air, the more power it's fuel. So then what happens is the air and the fuel mix, and then that causes the explosion and spark from the spark plugs. So the sprays fuel, it is going up, and then it explodes, and then it sends the piston down. And that happens in seconds. It's like seconds. It's like happening really fast.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy how that works.
Is the engine control unit does that control the timing?
Huh?
Does engine control unit does control the timing of that?
The engine?
All this, yeah, engine control unit.
So the engine control unit, what it basically does is it controls your injectors, your fuel injectors, and your spark plug. So it controls the timing of spark and fuel. So, and then the air and the camshaft spinning and the crankshaft, that rod in the middle, all that is controlled by a timing chain.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the mechanical is controlled by a timing chain, and all the electrical, like fuel injectors and spark plugs, and that's pretty much it, is controlled by. And the air is also metered by a mass airflow sensor, so it is controlled too by the engine control unit. Technically, it is, because it's checking how much air is coming into the engine. So, but it's checking it. It's not really controlling it, I would say.
Oh, cool. So I like how we're excited. The smile on your face while you're explaining everything.
Oh yeah, dude, I love it, man.
And I really enjoy hearing it too.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man. It's a fun hobby. It's a fun hobby to get into.
We'll make another different podcast on this one.
Oh yeah, stuff, dude, 100%. You're good,
fact,
dude.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. The smile on the face, the way you were explaining, and it almost took me in that zone where the fuel is entering, and
yeah, dude.
I was in that zone for a while.
Dude, thank you.
Awesome.
And I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for coming. That's it for today. And
okay,
of course, I would love to again about the technicals of the car. I'll certainly do some research, come up with some questions about the technicals. I do not know much about it, so I'll be a complete noob and ask to you.
Dude, okay, man.
Next,
I would love to explain it. I would love to explain it.
Yeah. So maybe we can do some sort of different programs on that one. And again, I love how passionate you are about your profession, the cars, and how you're passionate about your marriage, your relationships, your kids. It's just so awesome, and how much of a good person you are. On top of
Thank
that,
you, man.
just blows my
Thank
mind.
you. I appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
man.
Have a
I
great day.
appreciate it so much. You too, man. Thank you so much for having me on here, man.
Okay, bye, bro.
Bye. $140. You gotta do this because you love it.
Yeah. They was sleeping, they was snooze on me. I was dreaming about what food to eat. Why they sleeping, why they snoozed on me? I was seizing opportunity.